Okay, today we are going to talk about, or in this video, we're going to talk about sets and set notation. And so I have included this packet of worksheets. If you'll go ahead and take a minute to print those out or to pull them up so that you can see them and work on them. And I want you to pause the video, and if you'll go through the first 5 papers and just read through them, work through the problems, and I'm just going to pick a few to work through. So the first 5 papers, so the introduction to sets, subsets, adding sets, set intersection, and set summary, and introduction to Venn diagrams. They're pretty quick papers, but if you'll take a second or take a few minutes to look through those and then resume when you're ready to go over them. Okay, so this first paper is the introduction to sets. So a set is just a collection or a group of objects. Usually it's numbers, it can be letters, it can be anything in a set, but most of the problems we're going to be doing is going to be including like a group of people or a set of people or numbers or whatever. So all the things in the set are called the elements, and we use curly brackets to show that something's in a set. So there's an example. If a set has nothing in it, it's called the null set or the empty set, and you can see it as the curly brackets with nothing in it or a 0 with a line through it. That means the empty set. So this first paper that you've already looked at is just matching the set with the descriptions on the right. So for example, if I wanted to see the first 5 odd numbers, the first 5 odd numbers would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Let's see, months with 28 days. The only month that has 28 days in it is the month of February. So on and so forth. So if I was going to write the elements of a set, like look at number 12, the first 5 even numbers, so I'm going to do my little curly brackets. So the first even number is 2, the second is 4, the third even number is 6, the fourth even number is 8, and the fifth even number is 10. So that's an example of a set. Okay, so moving on, this is pretty straightforward. You shouldn't have had any issues with that. A subset. So a subset is a set of another set. So if I take this big set of things and then I talk about just a small amount of that, that's called a subset. So for example, if A is the set 1, 2, 3, and B is the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of A is in B, so A is a subset of B. And you can use this little C looking thing or a sideways U, and you can say A is contained by B, or B contains A. So if I was going to match the sets with their subsets, let's just pick a few. Let's just do a few. So number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a subset of, let's see, this is the set, so find the subset over here. So the thing that would be, subset of that would be 1, 3, and 5. So B would be a subset of that. So if the set is 2, 4, 6, 8, a subset of that would be just the number 8, which would be F. Number 4, school days. A subset of school days, Monday through Friday, would be Tuesday and Wednesday, so I. Oh, I skipped that one, sorry. It goes in this spot. Weekend days. So the weekend days are Saturday and Sunday. So D, it's the same set, but it's also a subset. Okay. So on the last one, which sets are equal? The one we just did, the weekend days. So that one and is equal to Sunday and Saturday. Okay, so that should be pretty straightforward. I don't think you probably would have had any issues with that one. Adding sets. So when we add 2 sets together, this is called the union, and this is the symbol for it. So it's taking all the things from one set and adding it to all the things in another set, and so you end up with a combination of the 2 sets. So for example, if my set is cat, dog, fish for set A, and set B is turtle, the union would be a combination of all those. It would be cat, dog, fish, and turtle. For number 2, set A is the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8. Set B is the numbers 1, 3, 5, 7. Then the union would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's look at number 9. If set A is Monday and set B is Tuesday, the union would be, the letters for Monday and the letters for Tuesday would be M-O-N-D-A-Y. So all the letters from set A, and then the letters from set B that we haven't already used. So T, U, E, S. I already have a D, I already have an A, I already have a Y. So that's the set. So you don't have to repeat the elements when you're doing the union. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Intersection. So the intersection is another function of sets. The intersection of two sets is all those elements that are in both sets. So it's the elements they have in common. So for example, if set A is 1, 2, 3, 4, and set B is 3, 4, 5, 6, the union would be what they have in common, which would be 3 and 4. I'm sorry, I said union. The intersection is what they would be, what they would have in common, which would be 3 and 4. So let's do a few of these. If set A is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, set B is 10, 20, 30, the intersection would be what they have in common. They have a 10 in common, they have a 20 in common. So 10 and 20 would be the intersection. Number 2, if these are my numbers, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 for set A, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 for set B, the intersection would be what they have in common. 2, 4, 8, and 16. So 2, 4, 8, 16 would be the intersection. Let's do one with letters. Number 5, if set A is the letters that make the word boys, set B is the letters that make the word girls, the intersection, the only letter they have in common is an S. So S would be the intersection. Okay, pretty straightforward. Moving on to the next one, the set summary. So this is just a combination of the last two things. So talking about the union and the intersection. So for number 1, if set A is cat, dog, fish, bird, set B is fish, frog, lizard, the union would be everything that's in both sets. So the union would be cat, dog, fish, bird, and then set B, I already have a fish in there, but I need to add the frog and the lizard. So that's the union. The intersection is what they have in common, and what they have in common is fish. Okay? For number 2, the union would be everything from both sets. Pie, cake, peas, and carrots. The intersection is what they have in common. Do they have anything in common? No. So your answer would be the null set or the empty set. You could write it 2 different ways. If they don't have anything in common, then the intersection is nothing. Let's do number 6. The union of the sets. So I'm going to write all the stuff from set K. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. All the stuff from letter L that's not already in there. 4 is already in there. 8's already in there. 12's already in there. So I'm going to put 16 and 20 in there. We don't need to rewrite it if it's already in there. The intersection is what they have in common. So 4, 8, and 12 is what they have in common. Okay, for number 7, if M is the set of girls in the 4th grade, and N is the set of boys in the 4th grade, then the union would be all the girls and all the boys in 4th grade, which would be all the students in 4th grade. So I'm going to put girls and boys in 4th grade. So all 4th grade students is another way you could write that. The intersection, is there an intersection of girls and boys? Is there somebody that could be both a girl and a boy in the 4th grade? Not getting too technical, we're going to say no. So the intersection would be the empty set. Okay, so that should be, hopefully that's just a summary of the last 2 papers, but maybe seeing it together helps you understand the difference between the 2. And the last thing on this video, before we move into the next video, is Venn diagrams. So Venn diagrams are a picture of what we just did, of sets. So if I had the set A, 1, 3, 5, 7, and the set B, 2, 4, 6, 8, there's no intersection of those sets. They have nothing in common. So this would just be like, this is set A right here, and this is set B. They have nothing in common, so it's just 2 separate circles. For the next one, if set A is 1, 3, 5, 7, and set B is 5, 7, 9, 11, they have the 5 and the 7 in common. So I can overlap the circles and put the common part in the middle. So this is still set A over here, this is set B over here, but right there is the intersection, because those numbers are in both sets. And then for this last one, the last example, set A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Set B is 2, 4, 6. If you'll notice, 2, 4, and 6 are in both sets. So B is actually a subset of A. So if it's a subset of A, then I'm going to put B inside of set A. So let's look at these 3 examples. We're going to match what the picture is for this. If A is the set of boys and B is the set of girls, let's think. Is there an intersection between these 2? Is there anything they have in common? No, they don't have anything in common. So these are 2 completely different sets with no intersection. So this would be letter C. Boys over here, girls over here. For number 2, set A is things with fur, and set B is things that live underground. Are all things that live underground, do they have fur? No. There's things like worms and other animals, I can't think off the top of my head right now, that don't have fur, that live underground. So A is not a subset of B. B is not necessarily a subset of A, because there's things that live above ground that have fur, but there's animals that do both. So this one would be A. So these would be animals that have fur that like don't live underground. This would be animals that live underground that don't have fur, and in the middle would be the ones that have both. And then the last one, if set A is animal and set B is cats, the intersection of those, all cats are animals. So B is a subset of A. So that is why that would be this picture right here. Okay, so that's the end of this video. We will come back and do the rest of these worksheets and do a few more things with Venn diagrams in just a few minutes on your next video.